Check those markets. The Dow's off 170, the Nasdaq's down 18, S&P down 11. A little bit of red ink. Check Meta. The company says they will continue to block new political ads on their platforms in the final weeks of campaigning before the midterms. That's Meta. And now this. House Republicans want to counter California's billionaire tax. Connor Hansen is on Capitol Hill. Isn't that a state issue, Connor, as opposed to what can the House do?
Well, the House wants to pass a bill, Republicans at least want to pass a bill that would make a state tax like this illegal. And this isn't strictly a bipartisan issue. This tax is even dividing California Democrats. Now, this proposal would impose a one-time 5% tax on residents worth more than $1 billion. It would apply to anyone who lived in California as of January 1st of this year and would come due next year. California Congressman Kevin Kiley is introducing a bill that would prevent states from retroactively taxing residents even after they've moved on to a more tax-friendly state.
A lot of high net worth individuals have already left California. You know, the founders of Google left, Mark Zuckerberg left, Larry Ellison left, Peter Thiel. It's estimated that $1 trillion in wealth has already left California just in anticipation of this insane policy.
And other opponents of this tax argue most billionaires don't have 5% of their wealth liquid and could be forced to unwind their companies to pay the bill. They fear that will stifle innovation by driving away the state's highly profitable tech companies. Those behind the tax claim it would bring in tens of millions in revenue and could pay for health care and education. Senator Bernie Sanders rallied in California, criticizing Republicans for recent tax cuts.
Starting right here in California, these billionaires are going to learn that we are still living in a democratic society where the people have some power.
And this issue has set up a clash between Sanders and Governor Gavin Newsom, who has come out strongly against the tax. Now, some of California's richest residents have already been pouring tens of millions of dollars into backing ballot proposals that would directly undercut this tax. Stuart.
Connor, thank you very much indeed. Let's bring in Kevin O'Leary joining us now. Kevin, Bernie Sanders has rallied in favor of the California wealth tax. It's not a tax, it is confiscation, and I think it's a terrible thing. But it may be popular. What's your analysis?
It may be popular. The problem with it is you're already seeing the outcome. When you basically start taxing people for success, it's un-American, and they, as the Constitution provides, competition of states, they move to places like where I am, Miami. In fact, it's getting so bad here, Stuart, I can't get over the bridge to dinner at night. The traffic's insane, and we can also, ask Mondami to stop too, because he's killing me with all these guys from New York. But having said that, here's why this narrative doesn't really make sense for Californians. Why wouldn't they ask? Let's say I have a company and revenues are going down, and my expenses are going up. I'd go to the CEO and say, why is my business falling apart like this? Why is it that everything's upside down? My revenues are going down, in this case, because people are leaving the state, and all my expenses are going up because you can't manage the place. You're a terrible manager. Why don't I just fire you and hire somebody else? And I do that all the time. So why don't the people of California say, we have terrible managers? I don't care if you look at the municipal level or the state level. They never talk about why expenses are going up, why they should cut government. Their services aren't any better than what I'm getting here in Miami, and we control these things. We have better managers. So get the whacking stick out and do the right thing and hire somebody else. This has nothing to do with politics. This is just bad management. The whacking stick is the solution.
The whacking stick. That will be a Republican who wins a statewide election in California. Probably not in my lifetime, but, I'm an optimist. Maybe we'll get there sometime. Kevin, this is from a Wall Street Journal article, people over the age of 65 have a large share of the country's wealth. Now, the article in the Journal is written as if there's something wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Baby boomers, they're older people, 60s and 70s. They've been investing all their life. That's why they're worth a great deal of money. Do you see a problem with people over 65 having a big chunk of the wealth?
No, I don't, Stuart, but a lot of that wealth is tied up in real estate because they've held onto their homes since when they got married, and 40 years later, it's their best asset. But let's not forget, when we talk about this wealth, there's about the next 12, 15 years is going to be a massive transfer of wealth to the younger generation. And when that happens, there's a state tax. So a portion of that's going back to the government. And that's been around for a long time. I consider that unfair because you've already been taxed on it multiple times. So why tax on death makes no sense to me. But whatever happens, death is for sure. So that wealth will transfer to the next generation. An interesting stat about this is that it only takes 3 generations to basically lose that wealth. People don't understand. The people that make it, covet it, understand it, manage it, think it's very important. But people that are given wealth, they squander it. And I think that's a remarkable thing. It finds its way back into the economy, but check any dynasty family. The Kennedys on down, all gone.
It'll be different with you, though, won't it, Kevin?
I'm never going to die, Stuart. I'm a vampire.
I knew you were going to say that. I just knew it. I knew it. I've got one more for you. You have said that if we want to compete in AI, we need to cut the red tape and accelerate data center construction. You're involved in developing, I believe, big data centers, massive centers in Utah and Alberta. What's the latest?
The narrative's turned to power. Every time you go to a data center conference now, it's power, 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 because the grid, we don't have any more power on it. That's why the whole data center thing's become a political issue. You can't just attach to it. The price of the library power goes up, the hospital, the residences, all that. So we have to develop our own power. So most of these projects, including Utah, is a massive power project, 1.4 gig to start for 1 gig of compute power. You have to find stranded nat gas, land, fiber, water, and a willing government at the governor level and the senators. And luckily in Utah, I found that 3 senators and Governor Cox, pro-business, pro-data centers. But the ball's back in their court now. We've announced that we need every incentive we can get out of that state because we have to raise billions to build this power and then the data centers that come afterwards. But I'm excited about it, Stuart. It's all about the power. And by the way, the country, the U.S. alone, needs 93 gigawatts of power. That's how far we're behind the Chinese right now, who built 500 gigawatts last year. China is kicking our hiney in AI. Sam Altman said that this morning. It's because of power, Stuart. Power. They have more.
Not good, not good. Kevin, thanks for joining us. I know we'll see you again soon. Thanks very much.
Take care.